Management Studio. Okay, so we'll discuss about the Management Studio. What is this Management Studio? From which version SQL Microsoft introduced this Management Studio? How to open it? How to use it? What and all things we can see in the Management Studio? How to close this Management Studio? Everything we'll discuss, guys. So Management Studio, in the morning class we discussed a little bit about the Management Studio. Every application will have a client and server architecture. Every application will have client and server architecture. So client will be used to connect to the server, guys. Generally client will be used to connect to the server. In our case, server means our SQL Server database engine. So how to connect to this SQL Server database engine? By using one tool called SSMS, SQL Server Management Studio. SQL Server Management Studio. This is called one tool. This can act as a client. By using this client, we can connect to the SQL servers that are running. Okay, only running instances we can connect, not stopped instances. So up to SQL Server 2014, this is an inbuilt tool. This is an inbuilt tool. So when you are installing SQL Server, you have to choose management tools under shared features. Okay, under shared features, guys. If you have any doubt, go to my channel, watch SQL Server 2012 installation. There you can see management tools feature. And when this management studio has been introduced, guys, this was introduced from SQL Server 2005. SQL Server 2005 onwards, this management studio has been introduced. Before 2005 means SQL Server 2000. What tool we used, guys? Query Analyzer. Query Analyzer. Okay, before Management Studio, we used one tool called Query Analyzer. From 2005, we started using this Management Studio, guys. From 2005 onwards, we started this Management Studio. Okay, we started using this Management Studio. So for 2016, 2017, 19, you have to install the Management Studio separately. You have to download it and you have to install it. Installation is very simple. Download the file, click on install button, you can install the Management Studio. Once you install the Management Studio, how to open the Management Studio? There are different ways to open the Management Studio. One way is long cut. So click on this Windows button. You have to type Management Studio here. Okay, so you will get the tool Management Studio. You can see here. Okay, SQL Server Management Studio. The current version is, sometimes people will ask you what is the current version of Management Studio. In the interviews also they will ask. So 18, guys, 18.2 something like that, 18.2.1, but you can say 18. Management Studio 18 is the current version. This is one way of opening Management Studio, guys. You can click on it, you will get the Management Studio. This is one way. Or you can use SSMS is the shortcut, guys, to open Management Studio. SSMS is the shortcut, but this shortcut will work up to SQL Server 2016. Up to SQL Server 2016, the shortcut is SSMS. From 2017 onwards, means 2017 and 2019, you have to type SS or SSMS or Management Studio, anything in the on the Windows button. Just click on this Windows bar. Okay, just type SS also you will get it. See here, Management Studio. Okay, in the same way, SSMS. Let me delete one SSMS. Okay, so you are not, yeah, SSMS also will give you the Management Studio tool. Okay, so in this way you have to open the Management Studio, guys. So the shortcut to open Management Studio is SSMS. Okay, so it's opening. Just wait for a minute. From 2017 onwards, generally you have to open like this. In the Windows machine 2019, again you have to just it is better to search here, you will get it. Sometimes if you are not getting here, there are some folders guys, there are some folders like Microsoft SQL Server kind of folders will be there in the Windows machine, and you have to open that folder. There you can see the management studio. Okay, click OK. It's still opening. So like this you can see guys, see here the version is v18.12.1. this is the latest version of management studio guys. Management studio is a tool, just a tool guys. If you are having any work, we'll open management studio and we'll work on that management studio, we'll connect to the servers and we'll work on that management studio. Once our work is completed, what we have to do guys, we have to close the management studio. Don't think like if you close the management studio something will happen to the server, nothing. Okay, say for example you are using WhatsApp. If you want to send any messages, you will open WhatsApp, you will send messages, and then you will close the WhatsApp. That doesn't mean WhatsApp is not running. WhatsApp will run in the back end. Whenever you want to send messages or whenever you want to see the messages, then what you are going to do, you have to simply open the WhatsApp. That's it. You have to type WhatsApp, you will get it. Right? In the same way, Management Studio is a tool. If you have a work, we'll open the Management Studio, and once our work is completed, we'll close the Management Studio. Closing Management Studio doesn't stop the SQL Server. Okay, right, now you can see this is the interface. This is the Management Studio interface guys. You can see here. Okay, so once it was opened, you can see to which instance you want me to connect. So as I told you, this is a, what is this guys, server name. Server name means what? This is a default instance, right? So it will take the computer name. How to find the computer name? Okay, there are two ways. One way is open my computer, this PC, properties. This is GUI way of finding the server name. Okay, you can see here, this is the computer name. If you have any doubts, you can see here the server name. Okay, let me keep like this. Okay, you can see here win q003 skrcsjg, win q003 skrcsjg. okay, this is one way of finding the machine name, or else you can use command prompt to open cmd, type host name. Okay, you can see the server name here, both are same. That is GUI way, this is command way, that's it. There is no difference guys, both are same. Okay, win q003 skrcsjg, that's it. Okay, in this way we can find the server name guys. This is the machine name. Of course, as I installed the default instance, and make sure always database engine is selected here. As a DBA, our work will be there on database engine only. If you want to connect to analysis services, you have to choose analysis or reporting or integration services, but 90% our work will be there on database engine only. Make sure this is a database engine. Server type, server name, of course if it is a default instance you can give computer name. If it is a named instance you can give the named instance name. Authentication type, generally as we have enabled Windows authentication during the installation, so you can choose Windows authentication only. And I told you one thing guys, during installation what I did, anyone remembered? During installation what I did guys, during installation for the login account I did something. What I did guys, can anyone tell me?
Administrator account.
Very good. I just added current user. If you click on current user account, so it will create a login with this administrator. As I logged into the administrator account, current user means administrator, right? So it will create a login in the SQL server. Then only now we can connect to the SQL server. Why? Because this login is already created in the SQL server. You can click on connect button guys. This is the connect button. So you can connect to the SQL server in this way. You can connect to multiple instances using one management studio. Sir, one more instance is there, one more management studio I have to install? Not required. Management studio is a shared tool. You can use only one management studio to connect to the multiple instances. Okay, so let me explain you a brief about this connections. Imagine in the same Windows machine you have SQL Server 2017, you have SQL Server 2019, SQL Server 2016 guys. Okay, you have SQL Server 2016, 2017 and 2019. So guys, do I need to install 3 management studio for these 3 servers?
No.
No, sir.
No.
Okay, so as discussed, if you install one management studio, that is enough guys. Okay, so generally of course we'll install management studio, but why? Because we don't install all the versions at a time, right? So that's why what Microsoft did is, earlier, before 2016, every time you have to select management studio. For each version you have to select management studio. So what Microsoft did is, this is not a correct practice. Why unnecessarily we have to increase the load on the servers by installing extra components? So let's separate this management studio. So once you install management studio, you can connect to all the versions of the SQL Server. If you install 2019 management, means latest version of management studio, you can connect to 2019, you can connect to 2017, you can connect to 2016, you can connect to 2014, 12, 8, 8R to 5, whatever instances are there, you can connect guys. But there is a small logic here. Imagine I have SQL Server 2012 and SQL Server 2008. So you will get 2 management studios. Why? Because this is before 2016, right? You will get 2 management studios. You can use one management studio, for example SSMS management studio. You can use the higher version management studio to connect to the lower version SQL servers also. Listen carefully. In the single management studio, in any management studio, either 2008 or 2012, you can use any management studio to connect to the other versions also, no issues. But what is the challenge? There is a challenge here. If you use lower version SSMS, you can use lower version SSMS. Imagine you can use lower version SSMS 2008, you can use to connect to 2008 instance. In the same way, you can use same management studio 2008 to connect to 2012 also. In the higher version of management studio, you can connect to lower version of instances. In the lower version of management studio, you can connect to higher version of instances. There is no doubt at all. But the challenge is, if you open lower version management studio and if you connect to the higher version SQL Server, higher version features won't show you in the lower version management studio. Let me give you an example. This is called a high availability feature. Generally this feature has been introduced from 2012 guys. This feature is one feature. I'll explain. There is a separate class on high availability. This feature has been introduced from SQL Server 2012. If you open SQL Server 2008 SSMS and if you connect to a 2012 SSMS under 2008 SSMS, you cannot see this feature. Why? Because you are using lower version SSMS. If you are using lower version SSMS and if you connect to higher version SQL Server, higher version features like always on, you cannot see lower version management studio. Any doubts? Let me know please. In the higher version, you can connect to all the lower version instances, you can see all the features. But in the lower version SSMS, if you connect to higher version SQL servers, you cannot see higher version features. Okay, in the lower version management studio. Is it clear or any doubts here? Please let me know. Is it clear guys? Simple point. If you use lower version management studio to connect to higher version SQL servers, it will connection will be succeeded. You can connect like this only, but lot of features you cannot see in the lower version management studio. Why? Because lower version management studio is not supporting those features. That's why you cannot see higher version features. You cannot see higher version features in the lower version management studio. This is one point. Why? Because sometimes we'll open management studio on older machines, we'll connect to the SQL server, then the version belongs to 2012, but you cannot see always on high availability. You will be worried, what happened? Why I cannot see always on high availability like that, right? The reason is might be you are using lower version management studio. Clear guys? Any questions, any doubts please? Chalo? Right. So this is one default instance, right? So I can connect to multiple instances in the same management studio. This is connect button, this is disconnect button. If I want to disconnect the server, just click on this disconnect button. Server is disconnected. That doesn't mean server is stopped guys, it just disconnected. If you want to connect again, click on the connect button and click on connect button again, the server is connected. If you want to connect to another instance, click on the connect button and just give the dot and click connect. You can connect to another instance. If I want to connect to one more instance, click on the connect button and just give local host. You can connect like this. And if you want to connect to another instance, you can click on the connect button and you can give local. Okay, and you can hit enter. You can connect like this. Okay, so this is one instance, this is one instance, this is one instance, this is one instance. See how 4 instances I just connected. Any doubts here, guys? Any doubts here? No doubts? Are we good? Guys, I installed only one instance, right? So how come 4 instances are there here? I installed only one instance. You can see the services and all with only one instance.
But connection to the SQL Server is different.
Sorry?
Connections are different.
Connections are different. How come? You can see everyone is connected with the same account.
Local host.
You can see everyone is different with everyone is connected with the same account name, administrator. Everyone is connected with administrator connection only. How come 4 instances? The reason is it's not 4 instances, it's single instance only. Okay, then why I can see like this are these are the different names of default instance, not connections. You tried very good, but not connections. Okay, these are the different names. Like we will have one official name, we will have in our friends will call with a different name, our parents will call with a different name, nicknames and all. Okay, our sister or brothers will call with a different name. So the person is a single person, you are the only person, but you are having 3-4 names, right? Official name is different, nickname is different, friends will call with a different name, right? So this is only one default instance only. I used multiple ways, multiple names to connect to the default instance. You can use just dot represents computer name. No need to type the whole name, whole server name. Simply you can just give dot means, in the Windows terminology, dot means server name. Okay, in the same way local host means that is also server name, Windows machine name. Local also is a server name. Like this 5, 6, 7 methods are there. Instance is same, means 6, 7 types, what we can say, names are there, different names are there for default instance. So only a single instance, but connected with multiple names, guys. That's it. Don't think 4 instances are there, only single instance. But default instance you can connect either using dot, you can connect either using localhost, or you can connect either using local.
Sir, how many default instruction can be given, sir?
Sorry, so how many
default instruction can be given, sir?
Who is this?
Sir, Shrikant, sir.
How many default instances can be given?
Yes, sir.
Means
like created 4, no, sir. Now
I haven't created 4, first thing. Okay, again I'm saying these are like, what is your name? Shrikant. What is your official name?
Shrikant only, sir.
How your friends are going to call you?
Shri, something like that.
Shri.
Sir.
How your parents will call you?
Same, sir.
Same.
Like
Bujji, Kanna, nothing is there?
Okay, sir.
Chinna. Okay.
I got it, sir. But like, what is the maximum number it can take like that?
No,
sir?
no. See, it's not like if you ask me what is the maximum nicknames you will have, means I cannot say.
Okay, sir.
These are the different names for the default instance. Maximum 6 or 7 are there.
Okay, sir.
For the same default instance, you can give different names. That's it. Instance is only one, but using different names, you can connect to the default instance.
Okay.
So it is, it's coming, we want to give it, or it come automatically?
No. See,
It's like that only?
this will come automatically, the first one.
Yeah, that others? You
Or
are
else if
given
you go,
already?
Sorry. Or else you can click on the connect button and you can click on this browse option. You can see here database engine. You can see only one name you can see. This is the official name.
Yeah.
These extra names you should know. Why? Because your colleagues will connect different names. Some people
This is
will connect
already in
using
that,
dot.
or this extra names is already
Where?
in that. We want to know that. right?
Yes,
We are not
you should
giving
know.
it actually.
Yes, I am not giving it, but I know these are different ways to connect to the default instance,
Okay. These
right?
instances are actually servers, right?
Again, I am saying only one server is there.
Uh,
Server is only one.
only one server, but
Only server,
in
only
one
one server.
server we are
You are connecting
creating
in.
named and a default instance. In one server we can create that one.
No, no,
Uh,
no, no, no.
If we are
But
creating named instance next time, then we are using another server.
that is different name, right? If you are
Yeah.
creating a named instance, you have to while installing a named instance, you will give one more name, right? While installing the instance, you will give a separate name, right? That name you will give to connect.
Yeah, that is another server or
That is
same
another
server.
instance. What is when the server? First of all, tell me. Server means
This
SQL Server or Windows Server.
SQL Server.
SQL Server means another server, right?
Yeah.
That is
Actually,
server.
we have downloaded this SQL Server,
Okay.
and that we call that as instance, or its instance is
No,
inside
you
that
cannot
server.
call that. No, you cannot call that. That is one software.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
when you download it, that is just a software. Using that software,
Mhm.
you can install 50 SQL servers up to. You
Okay.
can
Okay.
install up to 50 SQL servers. In the morning, I installed only one instance, that is default instance.
Okay.
But for default instance, there are different names.
Okay.
Okay, default
Okay.
instance can be connected as a dot, default instance can be connected as a local host, default instance can be connected as a local.
Okay.
Instance is only one, but we are giving different names to connect to that particular instance. Nothing is there to confuse. If you installed a named instance, while installing you have to give one name. Imagine you installed one instance, named instance, okay? That named instance name is Shahana. Now what you have to do, you have to give the computer name, okay? Backslash Shahana. Why? Because my instance name is Shahana.
Okay, sir.
Got the point?
Okay.
Right? Or else what are the other names we can give? Dot backslash Sahana. Why? Because dot means computer name, right?
Okay.
Localhost backslash Sahana. Local
Okay.
backslash Sahana. Like this you
Okay.
can give different. Why? Because your colleagues will connect like this. So you cannot ask, hey, where is the server name? I cannot see the server name. That's it. They will came to know that you are a fake guy. Okay, you should know extra. These are the extra things that you should know. Fine, guys?
Okay, sir.
Everyone.
So all these names are refers to default instance
Default only.
right?
Here all these three names refers to default computer name only.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? Right. So if I want to disconnect, I can give disconnect, disconnect, disconnect. That's it. Now only one instance is there. Okay. Nothing to worry now. So if you see this play button, guys, play button means the instance is up and running. You can see here play button here, and agent is also up and running. You can see one more play button here. Play button means up and running, guys. Sometimes you cannot see play button. Sometimes you can see a red stop button, a square symbol stop will be there. Let me stop this server. Okay, how to stop it? Right click, stop it. Wantedly I'm stopping. Okay, don't stop in the organization, guys, just to show you the status. Okay, so now the server is stopped. It will take some time to change the status. So generally you can see a red mark, guys. You can see a red mark here red mark, and here also red mark will be there. Okay, I just clicked on stop only, right? Not restart, right? Why? Because if I refresh, what happened is SQL Server is stopped. Okay, you can see here it is not showing any running, and you can see it is start. It is showing start button. Okay, you can stop or start either from services or from your management studio. Generally, you can see the red button here, guys. It's not updating the status, but if you refresh it, what will happen? You will get the error. Why? Because refresh is a command that will run on the server. So now the server is in stopped state, right? It cannot run any commands. So that's why you'll get the error generally. Okay, nothing to worry. I'll start the server. Just a minute. Let me get that error. Like this, you can see here the connection is broken and recovery is not possible. Like this, you can see, guys. Okay, let me restart the server again. You can restart the server. It's not updating the status. See here the stop button. Now you can see like this. If you can see like this means it is in stopped state, guys. If it is in stopped state means you cannot do anything on the server. You cannot do anything on the server. So you cannot run any commands and all. It will be like this. Okay, you can start the server again. It is taking lot of time to change the status. Okay, so now you can start the server and then you can now see. Now you can just refresh it. Now it will work. Okay, so again you can just start this agent. So now you can see it will start like this, guys. So in case if the server is stopped, you can start like this. This is one way generally. Restart or else you can use services.msc also. This is another way, guys. Okay, now the server is up and running again. You can see green button here. Right, if you expand, this is the instance name, guys. Under instance name you can see some different components. We'll call these components as objects. Objects, guys. In SQL Server we'll call everything as an object. Tables are objects, databases are objects, indexes are objects, any other components are objects. Generally we'll call these as an objects. And if you can see, if you expand this, if you create any databases, and guys, this is the connect button. You can either select like this or you can simply select the connect button to connect to the server. If you don't know server name, you can just click on the browse button and you can click on the database engine. You can select this name and you can click OK. This is another way of connecting to the server. Okay, you have to browse it. This is disconnect button, and if the server is stopped, this button will be highlighted. If you want to filter anything in this server, this button will be highlighted. And this is a refresh button. You can refresh the server. Okay, like this. Refresh you can do any times, guys. No issues. If you refresh, nothing will happen. No issues at all. And refresh is very good habit. Why? Because when you create any object, generally you have to refresh it. Then only you can see the new object. Otherwise you cannot see any new objects, guys. So you have to keep habituate to refresh the things. Please be muted if you don't have any questions. Right. Okay.
Sir, what is the last symbol, sir?
Last
Symbol. Next
this
to
one, this one. This is activity profile. Okay. So it will tell you some what we can say activity kind of thing. I'll explain about this. Okay. This was introduced in the latest version, guys. So I'll explain what this will do. Policy health check and all. It will help you to check the health of the server. Okay. If you click on this, and it will help you to check the health of the server, guys. I'll explain about this. Okay, how to use this, and it's very small.
Okay.
Small symbol. Okay, so generally you can use these connection buttons and all to connect to the server, right? And if you see here, okay, if you see this management studio, you can see file option. Under file option again you can see same. This is called object explorer, guys. This section is called object explorer. In this object explorer you can see the connected servers. Okay, this is file. Under file, if you want to open any new project, any new file, any new scripts and all, if you want to open, you can use this new option or open option, guys. If you want to save any scripts and all, you can use this save option. If you want to exit, you can use this F4 button. So like this, there are different options. While discussing, we'll came to know each option, guys. Nothing to worry at this moment. Okay, so like this it will be there. So now I want to run. I told you, right, SQL Server means using SQL Server will create the tables. Okay, will create the objects, will insert the data inside the tables, right? Will insert the data inside the tables, will delete the data. So lot of activities will do, guys. So how we are going to do? Either we can do using GUI or we can do using command, guys. Okay, some small commands will be there, so using command also you can do that. So if I want to find the version of the SQL Server, I want to find the, you know that this is the SQL Server 2017, but I want to find the version of this SQL Server. Okay, so for that what you have to do, you have to write one query. So where to write the queries and all, how to execute the queries in the Management Studio. Management Studio will be helped to connect to the servers, and once you connect it to the server, it will be helped to write the queries. So where to write the queries? Right click on the server name, you can see new query window, or select the server name, you can see new query. Just click on this new query. In any way you can open the new query, guys. So now the query window is opening. Okay, now you can see like this. Let me grab it, drag it. Okay, let me increase the font size, guys. 150. Okay, now I want to run one command to see the version. There is one command, guys. What is the command? Select @ version. Okay, so if you give this command, then you can see here, don't give any space, guys. If you give space, means that is an error. Actually, how to find an error? Okay, see here, if any error is there in the command, you can see a red mark like this. You can see, right, everyone? Right, now you can see a red mark, right?
Yes.
Yeah, if any error is there in the command, generally under that line you can see a red mark. That means there is a error here. Let me delete this free space. Now the error will gone. Okay, fine. Now I have to execute this query. How to execute this query? You can click on execute button, or see here in the execute button there is a one function key in the brackets. If you see here, what is the function key? What is the function
F5.
key? F5. You can just hit F5 button to execute the queries. You can use Alt X button, Alt plus X. You can use Alt plus X button, Alt X button to execute the queries. I'll generally use this keyboard shortcut. Either you can use execute button, or you can use F5, or you can use Alt X. I'm just clicking on execute button, guys. So once the query is executed, okay, this query will be executed. You can see the output here. This is a query editor, guys. This is an output pane. Output pane. Output pane. Okay, so this is called an output pane. Once you executed any queries here, okay, the output you can see here. Yes, any questions? Giri,
Sir.
any questions?
No, sir.
Please be muted. Okay, fine. Right, so this is called output pane, and you can see here which version it is, guys. Microsoft SQL Server 2017 RTM. I told you, right? The first copy is called an RTM copy. Okay, so now you can see this is an RTM in the brackets. You can see this is an RTM, and if you expand, just click on this column, double click on this, you can see the whole information. Okay, so August 2017, this was introduced. This RTM copy was introduced into the market. So which is a developer edition, and it was installed on Windows Server 2012 R2 Data Center edition. This is Windows Server edition, guys. This is SQL Server edition. Don't confuse, sir, why it is showing data center. This is Windows Server Data Center edition, and this developer edition is a SQL Server developer edition from Microsoft Corporation. Means by using this query you can find out the SQL Server version, SQL Server edition also. Tomorrow I'll ask you what is the query to find version and edition of the SQL Server. What is the query, guys?
Select
version.
Select @ version. We can use this. If we have only one command, no need to select and execute, guys. If you have only one command and the whole query editor, you can simply execute it. If you have multiple commands, okay, sp_who2, this is one more command. I'll explain about this later. Okay, sp_who3. So like this, if you have different commands, if you want to execute all at a time, you can simply click on execute button. You can see all outputs here. sp_who3. There is no such command like that. It is saying, see here, error it is showing. Let me delete this. sp_who. Let me go with sp_who. sp_who. Okay. If you want to execute, you can just click on execute button. Okay, so in the latest version it is not giving even sp who also, right? So no problem, let it be. So let me delete this. If you want to execute all the queries at a time, you can just click on execute button, guys. You can see two outputs. Why it is not giving two outputs? It should give. It should give. Okay, sp2. It's not giving the second output. Okay, if you execute this separately, you will get the output like this, guys, sp2. But generally, whatever queries are there in the query editor, whatever queries might be, they did some changes in the latest management studio. But generally, if you don't select any query, any set of query, if I want to see, I have two queries here. This is one query. If I want to execute, select this and execute, you will get only that output. And this is the second query. If you want to execute this query, you will get second output. This is called number of sessions and all. Again, I'll explain about this, nothing to worry. Just output you have to concentrate. But if I don't select anything and if I click on execute button, I have to get both outputs. But might be they did some changes and you can see only the first output. Okay. So generally, if you want to execute, if you have multiple commands, if you want to execute a specific command, select this and like this and click on execute. Only that command will be executed. Why? Because you have selected only this line, right? So only this command will be executed and the second command won't be executed, guys. Okay, so it will work like that, guys. Let me check one more select query. Select star from sys start sys processes. Let me check whether we'll get all the select queries output at a time. Now you can see here, right? Actually, this is like two outputs. One is select at a version output. Second one is select star from sys.sys processes output. So if you don't select anything, it will execute both queries, guys. If you want to execute a single query, then select that particular line only and execute, guys. In this way, you can execute. See, I am not getting any version here. In this way, you can execute the queries, guys. Generally, queries will be like this: small queries. Select star from sys.sys processes. Select star from sys.sys alt files. Select star from sys.dm execute request. Like one line queries will be there, hardly that to 10 to 15 queries we'll use throughout our practice. Okay, so nothing to worry, guys. You don't need to by heart the lines and lines of coding and all. Very small commands will be there that you have to, okay, learn. You have to practice. So any questions here, guys? Any questions till now? Any questions? Any
This SP underscore who two who three.
forget
These are
about
for
it.
what?
Forget
Okay.
about it. Okay, I'll explain it later.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to show you how the output will be if you are executing multiple commands. That's why I gave that SP hoot one dollar. Okay. Later there is a separate session on that. I'll explain. Nothing to worry. Any other questions, guys? No questions. All
Server
good.
can connect only one user. Only one user can connect at a time.
Actually,
Users can.
yes. Okay. Actually, yes. But here, if you know another user account name and password, you can still use it. Okay, but generally in the organization, my account is separate, your account is separate. I can't know your username and password, right? Agree? But yes, it is possible to connect. If you know the username and password, multiple people also can connect in the same management studio. But only one person, physically only one person. But that person can use other accounts also to connect. Okay?
Okay.
Any other questions, guys? No questions? Okay, then so this is how generally we'll write the queries. This is how generally. So guys, again, it's very important. Okay, so before executing, I want to check whether this query is correct or wrong. before executing, I want to check, you can use this correct parse button. This is called parse button. Tick mark is there, right? This is called parse button. If you click parse, if there are no errors, it will show you command completed successfully. Command completed successfully means there are no errors. Let me delete this. I just edited. Of course, you know there is an error here. And again, if you select this line and if you click on this parse button, okay, sometimes it don't work properly. So it is still showing, okay, what is that, command completed successfully. Let me execute this one. Let me check whether it will show. Like you can see like this. Means if you have any doubts on that command, whether this is right or wrong, then you can select that line, okay, and you can just click on this tick mark and it will tell you whether that command is correct or incorrect, guys. Okay, this is called parse button. Parse, first of all, we'll use parse button to check any errors are there in the script. If there are no errors, then we are going to click on execute button, guys. Okay, right, fine. So this is how generally we'll write the queries and we'll execute the queries, guys. Any questions here? If no questions, we'll jump into the next session. Okay, fine. So now let's discuss about the databases, guys. Let me discuss about the